Hi, everyone. Welcome to But First Coffee, Susie Oberholtz. I want to welcome you all back if you're returning friends. And if you're brand new, I hope you come back and join us all the time. We talk about a lot of serious stuff here, but we also just laugh and cut up and have a good time and just in general act silly sometimes. I also want to thank my mods because they are absolutely the greatest. You guys, I just can't tell you how much I appreciate you. And as the channel grows, I know I'm just going to grow to appreciate you even more and more. And on this channel, we are all about that every voice raises the volume. So if you have a channel, get with the mods and have them post your link in the chat. And also come back and my mind just went blank. I'm sorry. Oh, after the live is over, come back to the comment section and just leave some sort of a comment on there saying that you need subscribers or viewing hours or whatever, and people can come over and just click on your picture and go automatically to your channel and subscribe to you. That's how I've gotten subscribed to a lot of the channels that I watch all the time now, is by doing something that simple. It's just easy peasy. So let's go ahead and do that. And by the way, if y'all are a troll, just troll on over to somewhere else. We're not interested in that. We are a literal safe spot here for people to come and just enjoy each other's company or to catch up on what's going on, usually in the Scientology world, but also in with my breast cancer or all kinds of different things, and even a little bit of true crime, which is what we're covering today. So, with that, we're going to get started. I feel like it's kind of time to update y'all on the double murder of the two Kansas moms that happened in Oklahoma. Just a little quick backstory for those of you that maybe haven't watched, but really go back and watch those videos that I did on the subject because they have a lot more information than what I'm going to give now. But the story takes place. Ugh, story. I hate that. The murder, basically murders, takes place in Keys, Oklahoma, which is in the panhandle of Oklahoma, and it's really close to both Texas and Kansas. Young mom Veronica Butler was in a rough custody battle over her two kids, ages 6 and 8. The battle basically was with the grandmother, the baby daddy's mom. Her name was Tiffany Adams. So, anyway, Veronica, she hadn't seen her kids in months. It's a long story, but anyway, she hadn't seen her kids in months. And she and court appointed liaison, kind of a witness type of a deal. She works for the Department of Human Services. Her name's Jillian Kelly. Were en route from their town in Kansas, which is 45 minutes away from where they were supposed to meet the granny, to pick up the kids. But when they never returned, it alarmed her family members because she was supposed to be coming back for a birthday party for the little girl that was turning 6 that day. So anyway, some of the family members went in search of her, and they found her abandoned car, which had to have completely freaked them out because it had blood in it and it had pools of blood, or puddles of blood, they said, on the outside on the road. And it wasn't where she was supposed to be meeting the granny to pick up the children. It was about, I don't know, 2 or 3 miles away on kind of on a side road. But anyway, a 2-week search followed, with the women's bodies eventually being found in a 10-foot hole on a neighboring property, covered with dirt, chunks of concrete, and then hay scattered on top of it to for the cows to eat, to kind of disguise the fact that there was fresh dirt work. Anyway, so a total of 5 suspects have been arrested at this time. Tiffany Adams is the paternal granny, and we call her Granny because she doesn't like that name, and I don't like her, so I'm going to call her Granny. So, Anyway, she's the paternal granny to Veronica's kids and a local rancher in the area. Tad Cullum is the boyfriend of Granny. He's also a local rancher, farmer kind of guy. They're both rumored to be very, very wealthy. Very wealthy. And Cole and Cora Twombly, who are a married couple, and they're also local farmers, but they're not wealthy. And then there was Paul Grice, also a local farmer, and he's supposedly not wealthy either. And they're all friends, and they're all members of a cult called the God's Misfits. So they've all five been charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder, 2 counts of kidnapping, and conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. There was no bail set, and the 5 could potentially face the death penalty. As of right now, and I just checked a few minutes ago, no cause or means of death has been announced by the coroner in Oklahoma City. He did say, however, that the women were not shot. So there's, that worried me. In my opinion, y'all, the coroner in Oklahoma City he's crazy slow. I know of another case right now where there's a young man that was killed, and it's been 7 months and we still don't have a cause or means of death on him either. And so I'm really just frustrated with our coroner. I don't think that we're that busy that it should take that long. And if so, they need to hire some more people instead of, never mind, I shouldn't say it, but our governor is he spends a lot of money on a lot of stuff that we could be paying other people for. Anyway, all 5 are due back in court on May 15th. And Paul Grice, the last person to be arrested, and also the youngest, his wife immediately packed herself and their small children up and moved out of the state. She is said to be devastated and was completely unaware of her husband's involvement in the murder, which I don't know, but that's what everybody seems to think. They seem to believe her. There doesn't seem to be an issue. In my last video about this case, I said the people in town who have started speaking up seem to paint the 5 suspects, who are members of an extreme far-right anti-government religious cult called God's Misfits. They seem to paint them in the absolute most positive of light. They've been called pillars of the community, God-loving Christians, kind-hearted. Granny was a school board member and the president of the local GOP office in the area. I mean, it just goes on, right? But others have, on the other hand, said that they keep people living in fear and they drive around pointing guns at people. And it's a long story of some of the things that they've done that have terrorized people, but they're also in the other videos. So anyway, I follow another YouTuber that has been following this case pretty closely. She lives a lot closer than I do, and her name is Rock Chalk or Rock Chalk. I can't talk. For some reason, I can't say her name. I usually say Rock Salt, but it's Rock Chalk. But she's been right in the middle of this case since day one. She was boots, or I should say hooves, on the ground because she was actually on horseback searching for the women as soon as they were announced missing. I mean, she was right there. And she was actually shocked to see that there wasn't a huge, or even a small for that matter, search parties going out and looking for these women, and the people in town weren't looking. That they weren't talking. Like she couldn't get any people to like really talk about it, and if you brought up these people that have now been arrested, their names came up fairly early in it because of the huge, especially the granny, because of the huge custody battle between her and Veronica. And anytime you mentioned any of their names, people just clammed up like crazy and wouldn't talk, and it was awful. So it's just been bizarre, y'all. But they did have yellow ribbons up all over town in, honor of these women, and in the search that was going on. But everybody seemed to already assume that they were dead, even immediately. So anyway, since then, Rock has gotten some death threats, but it recently, like in the last couple of days, y'all, took a serious turn. So Rock, she continues to investigate this on her own ever since Tiffany and Jillian were found. She hasn't stopped. And so a couple of days ago, Rock, she likes to she drives around in the area. She doesn't live right there, but she's not as far. She's about 45 minutes, I think, from there. And she was driving from one location to another and timing, like, how long does it take to get from here to here? And how long does it take to get from here to here? And all, just timing all this. And she was doing this on a live, kind of timing, from point A to point B, and then from point C to point D, and on, right? So this little trip that she was making took her right by Tad Collins' place, okay? It's down a lonely country road. It's a dirt road out in the middle of nowhere, which was making me a nervous wreck. She was recording this. It was on her iPhone Pro. And so the entire event that I'm fixing to describe to you was caught live on her channel, which in some ways, is good because she's got how many witnesses to it. But in other ways, I'm sure that the people watching it were kind of freaking out. I know I was. Anyway, so as she approaches Cullum's home, her GPS is telling her, to turn into the drive, and it's like a circle drive and stuff. And she's like, I'm not turning in that drive. I'm not going in on the property. I can see that there's the house, and, but I'm going to stay out here on the road. And I'm not going to lie, y'all, her videos, they're not great quality. She does an amazing job with being informative, and the audio is great. She's, very good about, what's going on. She's very good at saying it out loud, what's going on, and kind of keeping you informed. But she's liable to have the phone pointed down at her feet or over at, somewhere else. She's just not good at that part. That's not what her concern is. I mean, but sometimes I really wish that she'd take somebody with her, just so they could hold the phone, or so that she'd have somebody with her. Because, I mean, I'm afraid of situations like what I'm about to tell you. But at the same time, then I get to thinking about that Veronica, she had somebody with her, and that didn't work out very good for her or the poor lady that was with her, or now the 6 children between the two of them that are without a mother. But anyway, so she's driving towards Cullum's house, and she sees 5 dogs. 3 of them are those Great Pyrenees dogs, and 2 are pit bulls, and they're running beside her car, and real happy. They're not like aggressive or anything. And she's even commenting about that, she wondered if somebody was taking care of them, and she said, well, they've got to be taking care of them because look how healthy they are. They're, they look great. They're not being underfed or anything. So she was commenting on that. And so she stops on the road to get a video of Cullum's house. And she also pets the dogs while she's at it because she's a dog lover. And anyway, so she's doing that. And here comes this vehicle. You just kind of see, I don't know if it's like a little bit of a hill right there, but you see a vehicle come from in front of her. And it pulls up right next to her, like very close to her side, to the driver's side of the vehicle. And anyway, so Rock was polite, and she's like, hey, what are you doing? Hey, how are you? Something like that. Just anyway. And it's an older woman, and that's driving this pickup. And the woman immediately cops an attitude. And the woman, she knew who Rock was because she called her by name. She actually said Rock Chalk. She didn't say, anything. She said Rock Chalk. And anyway, and the woman immediately says that she says, and I quote, you best move on. That, you're on private property. Well, Rock told her that the road is not private property, And the woman says, well, no, it's not. But if you linger, and she just kind of trailed off, which, kind of sounds a little bit threatening to me because I thought, I don't think I like this. But anyway, Rock, I couldn't really hear. There was a little bit of back and forth, but Rock, she says, she asked the woman if she's a God's misfit. And the woman, she says, no, I'm not, but you are, which it made no sense because, I mean, the woman knew who Rock was. She knows that she's not, one of the misfit. But anyway, I mean, she was probably watching her live and knew who she was to have shown up right when she did. I mean, she was with a purpose. She didn't happen on her. You could tell by that. So, anyway, Rock then says, well, let me just get your tag number because the woman's being threatening, right? And so she gets out of the car, which I don't think I would have done. But it was hard for her to do that because the woman had parked so close that she kind of had to slide out kind of sideways. She could barely get out. But the woman grabbed Rock's phone, right? And she's trying to break it. And Rock's like saying, give me my phone, let go of my phone. And anyway, so the woman was grabbing Rock's other arm and she ended up like digging these deep gashes in Rock's arm. I mean, like not scratches. I'm talking about gashes. I mean, it was rough, right? And Rock said that she was trying to pull her into her truck, but you couldn't really see that. You could hear it all, but you couldn't see it because the phone, right? I mean, the phone just like they're fighting over it. So it's going all over the place. So, you can imagine, right? I mean, they're in a bit of a tussle. They're not just standing there talking. So, but you do see a quick glimpse of a gun. And Rock says, oh, she's pointing a gun at me. And the woman says, yes, she is, very hateful and just like mocking. I mean, it was like crazy. So anyway, somehow or another, Rock breaks away from her, and the woman and the person in a van, which I didn't really know about, but they had pulled up and blocked her in from behind. And the way that the woman was sitting, she kind of had her blocked in from the front, so they had her pinned in there. They both left the scene. And the video was still going, but nothing was going on the screen, and you couldn't hear anything for a few seconds, which felt like 30 minutes. But then Rock got back on it and got on the live, and she showed everybody her arm, and it was bleeding quite a bit. And so anyway, at least all the viewers could take a breath that, realistically, we knew she hadn't been shot because we didn't hear anything. But in that moment, you're just like, oh my God, So anyway, she then went to file a police report with the police. And in the meantime, somehow, I mean, between the tag number and people seeing the woman on the screen, because the woman's face did flash on the live a couple times, they find out that the woman is Lori Sue Cullum, 69-year-old mother of Tad Cullum. Yeah, murder suspect Tad Cullum. And that's not the end of it. By the way, her iPhone is broken, and I'm not talking about scratches. I'm talking about broken. The woman broke the back of it in several places. And, so she isn't some little fragile old lady. Not that 69 is old, but I just mean she's, she wasn't very big, but she was strong and, probably from working on the farm and stuff. She's, a farm person, and we come from some hardy stock, y'all. But, Rock's Oakley sunglasses apparently somehow in all this tussle got flung into the woman's truck because they were nowhere to be found anywhere at the scene. So she has to get new sunglasses too. Oh well, poor. I mean, it beats being killed, but anyway. So Rock goes to both the Texas and Cimarron counties sheriff departments, and at each of them, she's told that the sheriff is out for the day. She contacts OHP, and they tell her that it's not in their jurisdiction. So she made another stop, and I wrote it down, but it was in the night, and when I wrote that part down, and I couldn't read my writing. I don't know what it was, but she made another stop, and they sent her on too. And so she eventually ends up at the Guyman Police Department, and they take a statement. And she said they were pretty nice to her, that they seemed interested, and they took her statement and everything. And she says, but lo and behold, here comes 2 sheriffs and like 8 deputy cars pulling up to this Guyman police department. So they had caught wind that she was there, and apparently, all of a sudden, maybe they are available. But anyway, after she gives her statement to them and shows them the video, both sheriffs determined that she was the aggressor. Apparently because she was on the road beside the property and she got out of her car, which are neither against the law. But pointing a firearm at somebody for no reason and trying to steal the phone is illegal. But Rock is the aggressor. So no charges were filed unless the crazy granny number 2 chooses to file against Rock for assault, which I wouldn't be surprised by. I mean, I'm just like, what in the heck? Oh, but I don't know, y'all. I just think that this smells suspicious as heck. And the sheriffs are Matt Boley, who's running unopposed for re-election in Texas County. I believe it is. Yeah. And Mark Swinton, who's running for re-election against Clint Twombly in Cimarron County. Now, Clint Twombly is Cole Twombly's brother. But back to Sheriff Boley for a minute. When the original 4 suspects made their first court appearance, he hugged Lori Sue Cullum in court, in the courtroom, when everybody was walking in. He got called on it by some people in the media, and he claimed that it's a small community and that she was upset and needed a hug. And that might all be true. But y'all, if you remember, I had told you before that I was arrested one time, falsely arrested. And the officer who arrested me was a friend. I mean, I cut his hair. I was a hairstylist and had the newspaper at the time. And I cut his hair every 2 weeks, just like clockwork. And I was crying and vomiting because I was so scared and upset and mad and everything over this, we're getting arrested. Because, I mean, I don't get in trouble, y'all. I'm not like that. And he didn't hug me. I mean, he was nice. And I was so relieved that it was him. And he had actually, this is kind of a little side note, but he had actually volunteered to be the one to arrest me because he wanted to make it as easy for me as he could. And he knew that I would relax more with him than like somebody that I didn't know or like. And so, he did that, but he didn't hug me. He didn't even hug my daughter. She was a teenager and she was there. He didn't hug her either. And we didn't expect it. He was doing his job. He was already being kind. Okay, so let's also not forget, in another little weird twist, that Clint Twombly, who's Cole Twombly's brother and whose truck was used in the murders, is running for sheriff against Swinton. Y'all, I gotta take this headband off. I'm sorry, but it's about to pinch my head off for some reason today. I'm just uncomfortable today. But anyway, So anyway, there's still more. There's more questionable stuff going on with law enforcement in this area, and I'm not sure how it's all gonna pan out. But there's another name that I want to mention because I'm watching, and it may not come to anything, but I think it will. But anyway, there's this guy, and his name is Kevin McIntyre, and he is the current district attorney's head of the task force against drugs. He's the top dog of this drug task force. He is even the agent that arrested Veronica Butler's baby daddy, Wrangler Rickman, which is the son of Granny Tiffany Adams, that's accused of murder. It just keeps going in a circle. It's just bizarre. He's been a chief of police, an EMT. He was even the sheriff. And there's more. When he was the chief of police in Ardmore, Oklahoma, he got in trouble. And the long story short of the whole deal is that he took like $2,600 from a drug bust. And he didn't report the money, and he just helped himself to it. But that was discovered pretty quickly, I guess, because they knew there had been a drug bust, but he didn't fill out paperwork talking about what he had got from it. So it was discovered pretty quickly. So he then staged a break-in to the police department. But they figured out that too, because nothing was missing except, of course, the cash. There was other cash, computers, all kinds of stuff was still there. Now, I think he should have went to jail. But he just had to pay the money back and to not be in law enforcement for 3 years. So I don't know what he did, but for the next 5 years, but he was out of law enforcement apparently he was out of law enforcement for 5 years, and he had to be for 3 years, but he was out for 5 years. And he got elected sheriff where he's at now. But he got fired because he got a minor pregnant. And they're married now, but she was a minor, and he's not he was still quite a bit older than her. So anyway, so now he's top dog, appointed by the same DA on this, of this task force, as head of this task force, working for the same DA that's handling this murder. Does that, to me, that just, I don't know. He works out of Guyman, where the suspects are all being held. And get this, he's got a website where he teaches people how to use tasers and stun guns and stuff, which were used in the commission of this murder. And even though he arrested Wrangler Rickman, he's besties with his mother, Tiffany Adams. And he even went to court with her when she got divorced from Wrangler's daddy, Jason Rickman. He's friends with all of them. They're all on his Facebook. He's friends with all of them. He's known to hang out with them, the whole bit. He's friends with them all. And for some reason, he's listed as a witness for the prosecution. It just feels weird. I found it interesting that this Granny Cullum, the second Granny, she went from zero to pulling a gun on rock. And last year, y'all, Tad Cullum pulled a guy on someone oddly their name isn't listed on the court records. But he was arrested and he had to pay a $10,000 bond for felony pointing a firearm. But about 15 days before his court appearance, the DA, the same one handling this murder case, dismissed the charges without prejudice or cause. And the reason was in the interest of justice. I don't understand how this guy can be the DA that's involved in this case. I don't know. Anyway, so then last night I was watching Rock for a little bit, trying to, see if I missed any little, pieces of information. And there was this guy that kept commenting on her live. So she invited him to come on. She gave him a link to come on the screen. And he was going on and on and on about how sweet and kind this Granny Cullum woman is. This from the one that hurt Rock, pulled the gun on her and ripped up her arm. He says he's known her for years, that she's known him his whole life, that she's older than him, and that he doesn't have any reason to think she's anything but a sweet and kind woman who's just scared of the people driving down her road. He said thousands. I mean, this is what he said. Thousands drive down the road daily. And Rock says, well, that's weird. I drive up and down these roads all the time, and I never see anybody driving down them. I never, very rarely ever meet traffic or anything. And he says, well, that he assumes that that's happening and that he assumes she gets death threats. Thousands a day. But even if she did, it still doesn't make it okay. But she doesn't. If anything, people are too scared because people have told her, don't go that way. Don't go over there. I know you've been here and here and here. Don't go that way. And she was like, it's been a while. There's nobody around. Nothing's been happening, so she thinks that it's fine. And then this happens. But he also says that he's known Granny Tiffany Adams his entire life, that she's a wonderful person, and he cannot imagine that she's involved in this murder. He just on and on and on, and he thinks that people are just gossiping. Gossip. There are 2 dead bodies, y'all. 2. But then he also said that he hasn't been in contact with her for 15 or 20 years. Well, I'm sorry, but I'm a totally different person today than I was 15 or 20 years ago. Better, but different. And I did notice, and some people commented on it, that he did have an upside down American flag behind him on the wall. So I looked it up because I could kind of guess, but I wasn't for sure about what it was referencing. And you could tell that he's really mad about the state of the country, and that he commented about that that this country's, he was pretty adamant about how terrible it is. And there was a military guy that was in the live feed that was very unhappy with the flag situation. And he said that it's supposed to be an SOS used by the military and not a constant decoration, or for those that are upset that their party didn't win an election. And he also said that he's a Republican, but he disagrees with the use of this symbol. And I looked it up, and it says that it's supposed to signal a dire distress in incidences of extreme danger to life or property. And so that kind of went along with what this military guy was saying too. And like I said, the military guy was saying, I'm a Republican too, but that's just not what it's supposed to be used for. And he said people are using it and it's insulting, is what he said. He called it insulting. So anyway, I'm just reporting it, y'all. So that's what I have right now. There are a few rumors that I'm still looking into. And keep in mind, these are just rumors, but they are saying, not the police, but the people in town, when they will speak, are saying that more people are going to be arrested. They're also saying that they think that there are more bodies buried on some of those farms. And a lot of people are waiting for Wrangler to get out of rehab to see if he's going to be arrested, because we don't know if he knew when, where, and how it was going to happen, but he did know it was going to happen. And so, everybody's kind of wondering about that too. And then people are wondering if Wrangler's dad is involved, but most of the people say no, that he doesn't seem to have much to do with them. Now, who knows, y'all? I can tell you that today, and then tomorrow I could come on and say, oh, guess what? So that's all I have on that. I did want to say a couple things, that if I don't get to all the chats or your comments or whatever, or post as often as I usually do, I want to apologize in advance. I started chemo again this morning, and I'm already feeling like a chemo patient. I put on a little bit of makeup today to try to make myself feel better, but I think it's fixing to come off, and I'm fixing to go to bed. My whole body, when I have chemo, my whole body just tingles, like from the top of my head to the bottoms of my feet. And I'm already feeling that. I'm tired. And I feel like I have a fever, but I don't. I checked that. I'm nauseated, worse than I have been when I was having chemo. And anyway, I just, in general, I just feel terrible. And I mean, I've only had one dose so far, and I take 6 pills twice a day. They're going to try to do this with uh, the oral way, with and with these oral pills, instead of having me go in for infusions. But if I don't tolerate it, then they'll have to have me come in for infusions. But anyway, so I do this every day, twice a day for 3 weeks. And then I take a week off. And then I rinse and repeat, basically, and go back for 6 months. So I do this for 6 months. But I'm told to expect sores in my mouth and on the soles of my feet and the palms of my hands. My hands and feet are tingly today. I do have lotion for that. I'm going to go put that on my hands and feet after I wash this makeup off. But right now, I'm just mainly struggling with depression. Mainly just over being on chemo again, y'all. I really thought I was done the last time. And when they had me ring the bell for chemo, and then I went through radiation and I rung the bell for that, I really thought I was done. But I'm not. And that's where you all come in, because your friendship means everything to me. I don't feel so alone this time as I did last time. So I want to thank you all from the bottom of my heart, and just tell you that I will be here. I just might not get through all of the chat and the messages all the time, comments all the time. But I'm sorry, guys. I'm really okay. It's just rough. It's an emotional day, and I mean, I'll be fine. I'm, once I get past this first day kind of thing. But anyway, I'm going to check my chat now and see what's going on. And I thank you guys so much for being here. DJ's popping over from Mama's, and she's something. I really love her. Check your email. I sent you a funny pic. I'm trying to think of, okay, I think I can get that email on this phone. Let me check that real quick. I'm sorry. I'll check it really fast if I can find it. Now I'm tears in my eyes. Probably can't find it. Cabana Chica says, hola, Susie and Nico. Mischief manages, Hey, y'all. Just talking to each other. Yeah, Mischief Man says, okay, who hadn't hit the like button? Oh, let's see in here. I'll have to find it in a little bit. I have about 300 emails on there just from today, not all from viewers, but I'll look at it. I promise, and it's probably going to cheer me up because I love funny things. Brian Lucas says, "Good afternoon, everybody." I love when y'all talk to each other. Pup Groomer 20's in here. Hey, it's good to see you. May 15th is your birthday, Cabana? Yeah, I have scans that day. They're gonna do my PET scan for my cancer on the 15th, and I think it's the 17th. I'll have to look at my chart, but anyway, I go back to my oncologist. So she wanted me to be on this medicine for a few days so that we could see if I'm going to tolerate it, because she might have to change it whenever I go see her. So, aw. KSSky Gal is late but listening from work. Yes, more brave than I could ever be. Hi from North Georgia, everyone. Hey, Miss Sunrise Dawn. Yes, isn't it scary? Mischief managed. I was watching it when it was happening, and I was just like scared to death, and I kept thinking, is this live? I mean, I was like, okay, because sometimes I worry about that whenever we see like somebody driving, like some of the protesters, and they'll be going from one place to another, and they're driving. They're not on their phones, but you see that they're driving, and I'm always so scared that something's going to happen. I mean, and it's live. Hey, Dawn. Yeah, no one else capable of taking a report. Why are all these people? I know it's a small area, but is it not strange that they're all like intertwined? And then the fact that, remember that Cora Twombly was originally a Twombly, then she married somebody else. I think his last name was White, and then they got a divorce, and now she's a Twombly again. So she's married a cousin or somebody. Yeah. In other words, they don't want to mess with it. Absolutely, it is ridiculous, Mischief. Yeah. Brian Lucas says, in my experience, rural sheriff's offices are usually corrupt. I know I don't trust the sheriff office of the county that I live. I don't either. We always have this joke that if you need them, do not tell them that there's a weapon involved, because they're not going to show up. And I used to babysit for this couple, and their kids were the same age as my kids, and I used to watch their kids. This is years and years ago. I mean, one of them was a newborn, and anyway, she's in her 30s now, so you know. But the dad was a highway. Well, he was actually a lake patrol, but they're like the highway patrol, and he was constantly being the first one on the scene to all of these incidences. I mean, constantly. And he would have it all wrapped up before the sheriffs even got there. And I was just like, oh my God, get back on the lake and stay away from these people. Yeah, the Sunrise Dawn. Just got to the she was the aggressor part. I know that. I think that was the part that got me. Yeah, Ogre, he'd make a great sheriff. Yeah. Yeah, what trailer park is this happening at? Sorry. I know, right? That's what we said too. Don't worry. And I live in a double wide mobile home and I don't find any offense in it. Susan P says that she's driving home so she'll hit spots with no coverage. The whole ordeal is messed up, Susan. It is. Yeah. Poet, an upside down flag is a sign of distress. Absolutely. Yeah. Rock is rock chalk, like chalk that you draw with. Yeah. And that's her name on YouTube. And she's really good. Like I said, her videos, the quality of the visual end of it is not good a lot of times. When she's like paying attention, it is, but if she's more worried about what she's doing or who she's talking to or whatever, then she's focused more on that and she's really good at getting the information out, but she's not good at getting the information out and doing a picture, which I probably wouldn't be either. I'm not knocking her at all. I will look after myself, Kibana. Thank you. Thank you, Dawn. Yeah, no, I started them today. She actually wanted me to start them yesterday, but I had a migraine and was in bed all day yesterday. So part of my feeling this bad today could be when I have a migraine, when they're a bad one. The next day, I've told Mark that I kind of feel like I've got a hangover, that kind of a situation. And so I have that. And then on top of this chemo stuff, but I mean, it was like an hour, maybe 2 hours after I took the chemo today. And it all of a sudden, it all started coming back, all those feelings. And I really wasn't expecting that. Sending good vibes. Thank you, Brian. Thank you very much. Thank you, Dawn. I'm glad you're here for me. I know you all are. I do know that. Aw. The Sunrise Dawn says, Susie, don't you dare apologize to us. You have to take care of you. I love you and I want you better. I just want to hug you right now. I want to hug you too. I want to hug everybody. And I am not a huggy person, but I'm turning into one. You guys have softened me up. Here for you, Susie. Thank you, Mischief. KSS Gal says, we're all here for you, hun. Kubana says, don't worry about makeup. We love you just as you are. I know. I was a little vain this morning because I looked so terrible. My face just gets this horrible, like gray looking color in it. And dark circles under my eyes. And my eyes, I always have said that I get the dead eye, kind of like the Scientology eye. And you'll see it. It'll be there. It was already some today. They just like there's just nothing there. And it'll get bad. Oh, thank you. Y'all are so nice. We love you just as you are. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, please do subscribe to her channel. She's just a person just plugging along. And I mean, I don't know what she got in trouble for, but I guess she got in trouble several years back. So she did have a felony against her years ago. She doesn't hide that fact. And I know she's told what it is, but I can't remember what she said. It wasn't, I wasn't like, so, but I can't remember what she said it was. Thank you. Thank you, Susan. You have nothing to apologize. I'm the one who is apologizing and saying, I'm sorry you have to go through this again. I can't imagine. Oh, Tammy, that's really sweet. Thank you. "15 in chat and 14 likes. One of y'all are slacking." Aw. Aw. I will drink a rum for you, Susie. That sounds nice. Do that. I like that. I like rum. Yes. I will beat this, and I am not going anywhere, but y'all are gonna probably get to see tired Susie, and I might be kind of propped up or something sometime. Or if I jump up and leave, like if I mean I take my nausea pills, but if I jump up and leave, y'all just give me a minute, I'll be back. It doesn't last long. Yes. I just about had a panic attack seeing that live. It was scary. And the people in the live, we kept talking and saying, I mean, and it honestly went by pretty fast. Wow. Mischief Manor says small towns are like that. My principal and my dentist were brothers. Mm-hmm. I was wondering, or I was watching it and I kept saying, don't get out of your vehicle. I was so scared for her. Yeah, I was too. Yeah, too close to home. Absolutely. Yeah, I've thought about bringing her in. She doesn't like to be on camera and she hates the sound of her own voice. But I'm going to see if she'll come in. I'd like to get her to come in, especially as this progresses. Like right now, she probably doesn't have a whole lot that she would, want to talk about, but as it goes to court, she's going to be on top of it. So I'm going to talk to her. Yeah, she's based in Wichita. Group hug. Aw. If we could just throw out, before we sign off, if we could just take a minute in silence and visualize or send positive vibes to Susie for her recovery. Thank you, guys. Let's do that real quick, okay? Thank you, guys. Tammy says that when positive vibes or visualization is done as a group, it's a lot more powerful than by itself. Absolutely. I wonder if they keep showing Deliverance at their local drive-in movie still. Maybe. Yes, Mandy, we do. We need to have a co-stream. I need to get with you. I'm going to work on that with my daughter, figuring out how to do everything. And then maybe we can get together in the next few days and set that up because I would really like to do that. Doesn't like to be on camera, hates her voice. YouTuber, perfect choice. I know, right? I'm the same way. I cannot stand whenever because the camera's right there. I mean, I see myself and I have to try to remind myself to look to where the lens actually is. And so I see myself all the time. So if you see my eyes darting around, it's because I'm looking anywhere but there. So I get it with her. And I hate to hear my voice too. I think you'd be shocked how many of us do not like to hear ourselves. But she really doesn't like to hear it. She will not replay her videos. She doesn't watch them, which I very rarely do. Okay, Mandy's available after Saturday. Okay. Yeah, let me get with my daughters and see about that. And it'll probably be later in the week once I talk to my oncologist because I've got doctor's appointments this week and, all kinds of stuff. Could have sworn I turned that off. And yeah. So I'll know more whether I'm going to stay on these pills and how they're going to affect me, and or if I'm going to have to go back to the infusions. So if the infusions were only once a week, or once or twice a month, like a lot of times, I'd just about as soon do that than having to time these pills twice a day and make sure I eat and time it within a certain amount of time within meals, and just anyway. But oh, that's sweet. Your voice is great. You're on my night playlist. That's so sweet, Mischief Managed. Thank you. So anyway, I'm gonna go see my daughter for a little bit. I haven't got to see them, either one of them, very much this week at all. And anyway, I just love you guys. I really do. I am tested and scanned every 3 months. So that's how often we'll be doing those. We might do them more often, but I'm on the I'm on the schedule for every 3 months. So, but anyway, I'm going to go, you guys. I really appreciate you. Love you. Have a great weekend. I will probably be back on tomorrow. I have a couple little videos that I've got planned. One of them is kind of humorous in a sick sort of way. It's about LRH and all the blatant lies that he's told. And so anyway, I've got it all planned out and everything. So I'm wanting to do that. So anyway, do we know of anybody that's live right now that we could do a room raid? I don't know if we know of anybody live right now. I am. Goodness. If not, it's okay. We'll just do it next time. If you all see somebody live, go over there and tell them that I said hi. So I don't care if it's 10 different rooms. There's 18 of you watching right now. If you go to 18 rooms and you say hi from Susie, then that'll make me happy. So I will see you guys later. I'm going to go get some rest. I'm tired. I'm going to try to find something to eat, which is always fun, and rest. So yeah, I didn't see anyone either, but anyway, we'll get them next time. So I see you guys later. Love you. Bye.